Newly discovered text messages between the FBI lovebirds Peter Strzok and Lisa Page may now be pointing to the fact that high-ranking FBI officials, CIA officials, Justice Department officials, and Senate leadership did, in fact, coordinate with the Obama White House. This systematic coordination started during the initial investigation of the fake Russian Trump campaign collusion. It was brought up by the Hillary Clinton campaign when they paid for a fake opposition research dossier on then-candidate Donald Trump. The investigators in this case said late yesterday that the information provided to Fox News strongly suggests coordination between former President Barack Obama's Chief of Staff Denis McDonough, then Senate Democratic Leader Harry Reid, and CIA Director John Brennan, which they say would directly contradict the official Obama administration's public stance about its hand in the process. More on these new findings via Fox News. Page texted Strzok on August 2, 2016, saying, "Make sure you can lawfully protect what you sign. Just thinking about Congress, FOIA, etc. You probably know better than me." A text message from Strzok to Page on August 3 described former FBI Deputy Director Andrew McCabe as being concerned with information control related to the initial investigation into the Trump campaign. According to a report from the New York Times, Brennan was sent to Capitol Hill around the same time to brief members of Congress on the possibility of election interference. Days later, on August 8, 2016, Strzok texted Page, "Internal Joint Cyber CD Intel piece for D. Scenesetter for McDonough brief. Trainor head of FBI Cyber Division directed all cyber info be pulled. I'd let Bill and Jim hammer it out first, though it would be best for D to have it before the Wed WH session." In the texts, D referred to FBI Director James Comey, and McDonough referred to Chief of Staff Denis McDonough, the GOP investigators said. FBI officials Peter Strzok and Lisa Page texted about a briefing given to former Obama Chief of Staff Denis McDonough, seen here. Reuters, "We are not making conclusions. What we are saying is that the timeline is concerning enough to warrant the appointment of an independent investigator to look at whether or not the Obama White House was involved in the Trump-Russia investigation," a GOP congressional source told Fox News. An FBI spokesman did not immediately respond to Fox News's request for comment. The congressional investigators pointed out to Fox News that the CIA and FBI are supposed to be independent agencies and noted that coordination between political actors at the White House and investigators would be inappropriate, raising questions about the level of involvement of Obama White House officials. But weeks later, on August 25, 2016, Brennan went to Capitol Hill to brief Harry Reid, and it was unclear whether FBI officials attended the briefing, a congressional source told Fox News. 2 days after the briefing, Reid penned a letter to Comey requesting an investigation into potential collusion between the Trump campaign and Russia. The evidence of a direct connection between the Russian government and Donald Trump's presidential campaign continues to mount and has led Michael Morell, the former acting Central Intelligence Director, to call Trump an unwitting agent of Russia and the Kremlin. Reid, a Nevada Democrat, wrote, "The prospect of a hostile government actively seeking to undermine our free and fair elections represents one of the gravest threats to our democracy since the Cold War, and it is critical for the Federal Bureau of Investigation to use every resource available to investigate this matter thoroughly and in a timely fashion." Reid cited reports in his letter, noting methods Russia was using to influence the Trump campaign and manipulate it as a vehicle for advancing the interests of Russian President Vladimir Putin. Reid added that recent staff changes within the Trump campaign have made clear that the Trump campaign has employed a number of individuals with significant and disturbing ties to Russia and the Kremlin, urging Comey to make the investigation public. The following day, August 30, 2016, Strzok texted Page, "Here we go," sending a link to the Times report titled, "Harry Reid cites evidence of Russian tampering in U.S. vote and seeks FBI inquiry." Strzok replied, "D. Comey said at him brief that Reid called him and told him he would be sending a letter." Congressional investigators suggested that the Reid letter possibly provided cover for the fact that the FBI and Justice Department had already begun investigating the Trump campaign in mid-July on what they called questionable ethical and legal grounds. The "Here we go" text between Strzok and Page indicates the FBI DOJ knew the letter from Reid was coming, a congressional source told Fox News. This created the inference they knew it would create public calls for an investigation into Russian interference, covering them. Sources did confirm that they weren't passing judgment on or claiming to have a smoking gun into what went on in the Obama White House when it came to this issue, but that it does give them a good amount of concern that the Obama White House may have possibly lied to investigators and the public about how involved they all were in this obvious attempt to take out a duly elected president. It's obvious that whatever went on here, former President Barack Hussein Obama knew more than what he claimed. And since he is for all intent and purpose the leader of the Democrat Party, who is used to getting away with murder, while the GOP sits quietly, he has to have had more to do with this attempted overthrow of a Trump's presidency before he was even elected. If these texts do prove to be a smoking gun, it's possible that Obama and most of the people around him at the time this happened will have to face legal consequences. Especially when you consider this whole episode makes the Nixon-Watergate scandal look like a candy bar theft at your local convenience store. HT Fox News.